As we are rounding out the year, I thought no better for us to continue our conversations around giving, not only financially, but how can you give back while also being a part of a great community? Well, the women at Team Women are doing just that, and they are led by their fierce Executive Director, Katie Berke, and we are so excited to have her on today's episode of the Thrive Forward podcast, where we'll talk about how they meet women where they are and young girls, bringing them and empowering them and inspiring them to move from the classroom to the boardroom. And today's episode, I'm sure you will leave having a little bit more of a warm heart. So tune in and feel free to share with another woman who you want to inspire today. Katie, thank you so much for joining us on the Thrive Forward podcast. I am blessed to share space with you today and have you share the Team Women's story and a little bit about yourself as well as we kind of close out this year and why it's so important to be able to give back. So thank you for spending time with us.
Well, thank you for the invitation and thank you for your support and thank you for the good work that you do. I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you. So let's pretend like nobody knows and have been living under a rock.
Yeah.
And they don't know what Team Women is. Yeah. How did you become involved with the organization? What gives you the passion to be able to make this and create change in young girls and professionals' lives, right? It's not just girls.
So great question. I became involved several years ago. I had met Pam Borton, who is one of the founders of this great organization, and learned about that, the organization, at a time when I had been involved in another nonprofit doing some work in that space, but also which actually was geared toward women, and Women Venture is the name of the organization. And, you know, I found that I didn't start out knowing how much I loved helping other women, but I sort of, life took me in that direction. And then I heard about Team Women and I was like, oh, that is a great organization. And because we provide leadership development and mentoring for professional women and girls. So I also love the professional development space. I had been involved in another business, our family business, that is a speakers bureau. So we book professional speakers on the organized speaking circuit. Again, that's professional development, always about, you know, and then also in my own personal life, just being a steward, a student, I think, of self-awareness is just that kind of goes hand in hand with always looking inward to how we can grow better outward. So.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way of saying it. And it's always a constant work, right? We've never got to a place of like this ability of complete awareness. And I think that's why I have we've just recently connected, although it feels like we've probably been aligned for a long time, just maybe never crossed paths. But that's why I was so intrigued with Team Women it is something that just continues on. I also was an athlete and I was a cheerleading coach for 10 years of my life.
Nice.
And I love the team aspect of things. And I also think that we as women have the tendency to want to be a part of something and want to be a part of a team. So can you share with us like a little bit about how the process works? What does the organization do as a part of the mentoring?
Yeah, for sure. So that's one of our great pillars that the organization was founded on, this mentor program. And we launch 2 cohorts a year where we pair mentors and mentees. And what's neat about this program is it's a 12-month mentee-driven program. So there's some accountability there on the mentee's perspective. They need to define their goals and objectives. And then the mentor rides alongside of them. And they meet monthly. And the organization supports that relationship by providing thought-provoking content, either in TED Talks or thought leadership articles, to help spur any conversation. And that, as those 2 strangers are kind of coming together and getting to know one another. But oftentimes we are women and we do find ways to connect. And so that's, through our program, we've made just an enormous impact. We've paired, I think, about 370 mentor-mentees to date. And the results have been really phenomenal. We've seen women rise to the C-suite. We've seen women just in general get promoted. We have some stats on that. We've seen women re-enter the workforce and now leave the workforce. We've seen women change lanes mid-career. I mean, that's a big thing that's going on right now for everybody. We've kind of in the last couple of years taken a pause, some of us, to reflect and think about, are we really living and working in our passion, And so that mentor program really supports women along their journey.
I think that's beautiful.
Personally and professionally.
Yeah, I think that part is
that's a little bit about our mentor program.
Tell us about the other pillars besides the mentor program.
Sure. So our leadership development pillar, that is where you'll find all types of professional development. I mean, the members within our community are from every different industry. So from finance to healthcare to nonprofit to government, military. We love the military. They serve in a variety of roles, from the C-suite to young professionals to college kids, so those that are in that early career stage. So our programming really hits the needs of those women on their different parts of their journey. And we offer about 40 events a year, and they're all at different times of the day so that the members have a lot of options to come in. And, what we know about our membership is people want to be a part of us because they want to be inspired. They want to learn something. They want to have professional development opportunities, and they want to grow their network. And so that's always in our mind as we're developing our programming. And we're fortunate to have just top-rated speakers within our membership and outside that we have access to that see our membership as a way for them to give back too. So that's a little bit about our leadership development events. They look different. We have 3 flagship events. We have an all-day leadership conference, which is coming up May 4th, 2022. So be sure you have that on your calendar because it is so fun and you learn so much. It's, we talk about the sense of belonging a lot now. People are really wanting that sense of belonging. And when you come to Team Women, you feel like you found your people. I mean, that's our goal. That's what we strive for. That's the culture we want to put out there. And our leadership conference is one for those that are introverts that don't really like to network, and a lot of people don't. And so we're there to help you. Don't worry if you don't know anybody. We will wrap you up and be there for you to help you on your path. So our leadership conference is an all-day event. Then our Wavemaker Awards is planned by our Young Professionals Advisory Board, which is just a stellar group of young women that are making their mark. And this awards night is a night for us to celebrate those high achievers, those ones that are coming up in the ranks and making an impact and a difference. And that's a wonderful night. And then our Empower Gala, which is coming up next week, actually. Yeah. And that is our fundraiser, basically. It's a gala that we put on to support our mission work of inspiring women and developing leaders from the classroom to the boardroom. So that's a silent auction, and it'll be virtual this year, but next year we'll go back to in-person. And our Wavemaker Awards next year is October 6th. So
look at you guys planning all of that stuff ahead of time so people can have the dates. I love that aspect of things.
And that's the key. I mean, balanced life is just sort of being in charge of your calendar and, making sure that you are feeding your soul in every different aspect and attending things that you want to. So,
I think that's a great element. You talked about 2 things that I think are so critical. I have a new team member that I'm bringing on in January of 2022, and she's so excited already. And we're in November when you and I are recording this, and she's already okay, what can I do between now and then to get started? And one of the things I said was you need to grow your network. Like you need to be out there, and not in the traditional sense of networking, nothing against like a BNI group or something where you sit down and you got to bring a referral or you're passing cocktails, or find something you're passionate about and make connection with people, because that's actually how networks form, when you are connecting via like-minded things. And you talked about the education piece and the leadership development. And I think when you put yourself in a room with other people who are wanting to learn and grow themselves, then you want to be able to support each other too. What does that support system look like for Team Women, from that element of classroom to boardroom?
I love that you said that, because it's modeled the way. Surround yourself with the people that are attractive to you, that are modeling the life that you want to live. And then put them in a safe environment where you do feel like you're like, hey, Shannon, I'm in Team Women. Great. That says something. That means we have an open conversation right now. It's different than other networking groups, where it might be a little bit of a more, you're not as vulnerable,
Yeah.
Here you can be vulnerable, and that's having safe, open conversations in every single event that we do is really important to us, because I feel, I don't know, I read, I watch videos or what, but I really learn from other people, and I want to feel like I can ask the questions, I want permission, so. Yes. And again, like we've been talking about this financial empowerment. I love that some of these really tough conversations that have been buried under, rocks for generations are now out there. And we have permission to talk about financial, our financial health and well-being. We have a permission to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we have a different, we just have opportunities to have safe conversations so that we can support one another. It doesn't mean we have to agree. It just means we have to have environments where we can really be honest and authentic.
And grow from those experiences. You and I were talking about this in the pre-show. It doesn't mean that we have to agree with how the path is to get to somewhere, but maybe that end point is actually the same. Exactly. We have so many more things in common than we have difference, but we have to understand each other's story and path look different to getting to that place, right?
Yeah.
And someone's experience in the classroom going to the boardroom is not going to necessarily be the same experience as the person sitting next to them, right?
It's so true.
So I think one thing that I really love about Team Women too is the part where you're allowing this flexibility and mentorship. And you said yourself, like, I love learning from other people. Mm-hmm. Mentorship has been, and getting involved with nonprofits has sometimes been the element of, I'm giving to somebody else, but really it's, what are we also learning from each other? Mm-hmm. How have you seen that your mentors are learning from the mentees as well as they're growing?
Well, there's a saying, you always get back way more than you give. You receive more than you give. And that, I just think that's a natural order of things. The more you give, the more you get, and it just, when you're an educator, so that every time that you're helping somebody unlock something in their own minds, it's helping you, number one, develop a different awareness about the lens that somebody looks at an issue, right? So people are so interesting, and we learn so much from others. One of the things that I love about our youth empowerment pillar is that I feel like this generation, Gen Z and younger, are growing up with these tools and these communication. They're so much more articulate, and I feel like they have a clear sense of passion and purpose in their life. And so that's the other exciting part about building a supportive community too, because it reaches way down into our work with youth. We see that there.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about how people can get involved, right? They're like loving what you're saying about Team Women, but how can people get involved and be a part of the mission forward?
So there's a lot of different ways you could join. You could become a member. You could attend an event as a guest. So, we'll welcome everybody at whatever part of the journey they are on. They could host an Empower Leadership Academy. So for our youth empowerment, we actually hold academies and leadership sessions where we coach kids on confidence, mental wellness, resilience, and leadership. And that is so powerful, Shannon. I know you work with kids too, and it's really transformational, isn't it? When you see their vulnerability and them show up and their quest to learn more from you, and then you see the light bulb turn off, and they're just superstars. So it's really exciting to watch, and they can blossom in 90 minutes right in front of your eyes. They might be intimidated when you walk in and start talking to them about confidence or resilience skills. And at the end of it, they themselves will say, hey, I walked into this room not knowing 50 people, and I was nervous and intimidated, and I'm leaving now, and I feel like I could run for president. I mean, that's one young girl said that. It was so
that's
powerful.
so awesome.
I know.
I have one girl I coached she came in at her senior year. So she had not, and she was so nervous to try out for varsity, and she did. And I told her, I said, just show up like you are and you will do awesome. And she made it. And fast forward, she just passed the bar exam and is now an attorney. And she went to UC Berkeley. She her education is impeccable, and she is one of the smartest girls I know. I know a lot of smart girls, and she is phenomenal. And like that part of me was like, I just learned so much being with you. And now I'm like a proud mama seeing you just step into that element of greatness. So I can.
It is thrilling. I mean, and that's where you see the support. Like, I want them to like just go past me at 100 miles an hour. You know what I mean? I just want it. You do feel like a proud mama or just a sister. It's like, yes, you go and you're just going to crush it. And whatever age somebody is, I love to see that success, from disbelief to belief, know?
And it doesn't have to just be our young years. I think we as women, you talked about women pivoting in the middle of their careers and transitioning or starting their own business or moving to a different career period. It is when we live in those spaces, it is hard and we doubt ourselves no matter where we are in life. And so having a greater community like Team Women sounds like an amazing part. And I'm so looking forward to continuing to grow with the organization. I would be remiss if we left out the part, Katie, where people can also give.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, that's right. Because we were talking about how they could get involved. Yeah. Yes. So they could. That's funny. I went off track. That's weird.
No, it's okay. We go down tangents. It's all right. That's what this podcast is for. It's fine. We're talking. It's great.
That's so funny. Okay. So they can hold an academy. They can be a sponsor. They can be a donor. We have text to give. It's 44321. Lead with heart, all capital letter, all one word. Awesome. Thanks to our friend Giselle. She shared that with us. Let's see. Did I cover everybody? And just join, be a member, be a sponsor, be a donor, participate, come to anything, come to help or let us help you connect, grow, and be inspired. Yeah. So that's our mission.
You can, that's what you said. Start with an event. Come and attend. You guys have several events. Join the newsletter, that you can. That's how I started. I crept on the website. I joined as an email subscriber and follow you guys on social media and all of these great events that you guys have going on. And I think it's so critical that we create community as we do these things and we grow grow
We
together.
have some great interviews too, with on our YouTube channel. So we are really actively trying to grow that channel. But at our Waymaker Awards, we had some red carpet interviews by our partners, Twin Cities Film Fest. So Miss Shannon did some wonderful interviews with our honorees. So that's all on YouTube. But
yes,
yeah,
love her. She's great.
she is.
Yes, we know each other from the past. We've run in similar circles in the past as well.
Awesome.
I've known Shannon from her radio broadcasting days, and she's so fun and funny. So funny.
Yeah. So we are thrilled to have that wonderful partnership. That's another way you could get involved. We have some wonderful partnerships with organizations like Twin Cities Film Fest, Global Minnesota, Twin Cities Society of Human Resource Management.
Yes.
All the chambers and our other nonprofit friends. So.
Well, wonderful. Katie, thank you so much for joining us. Can you just let us know what the social handles and the website are for Team Women? We will link them in the show notes and on our blog. But if somebody's not getting into those spaces, how can they follow along with the journey?
Yep. Our website is teamwomenmn.org, even though our name is just Team Women. Our domain is teamwomenmn. And then you can follow us just on Team Women on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Yeah.
And subscribe on YouTube as well, because I did watch a couple of those videos. I just watched the recent interview you had on Veterans Day. It was great.
Very inspiring. Huntington. Oh, I'm glad you watched that. Yeah, thanks.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Katie. My friends, if you're tuning in, make sure that you give Team Women a follow. They are amazing.
Yeah, and thank you, Shannon, for your good work that you do on the Urban Ventures board, too. I mean, we were just honored to be able to hold an academy for those group of wonderful young kids.
Well, we got to work together, right?
Yeah, we do.
Creating change and creating community, bringing people together is amazing.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon.